I've always felt that there were two different types of people in the world. Those that do not read prefaces and introductions, and those that do. I have always been the latter due to the fact that I feel that introductions always give that underlying reason for passion that the author has chosen this topic for their book. The Anti-Mary Exposed, written by Carrie Gress, is no exception to that rule. It was published a year ago, nearly to the date, on March 1st, 2019. And over the year, it has gained so much traction in both the Catholic and Protestant communities that Laura, over at the channel What Laura Likes, encouraged this collaboration between a few YouTubers that are also Catholic wives and moms. I myself am Allie Marie, and this is my Catholic perspective. I am a born and raised Michigander here in Southwest Michigan and have 2 cats and a 1-year-old daughter. Having a daughter drew me so much deeper into this book because it really personifies this whole anti-Marian spirit that is going on in our culture today that we as moms, as our daughters, will have to overcome as it progresses. Because while we have pro-life enactment in the Senate right now, while we have pro-life people in office, that is not always going to be the case. And so when we look at how we have to shift our mindsets and shift changing people's hearts, we have to counteract this anti-Marian spirit. And this book goes so deeply into how that has been ingrained. Carrie does not mean this in the way that maybe Protestants are against Mary, like they don't believe she was sinless or they don't believe certain theological aspects that Catholics teach. That's not what this book is about at all. It's literally, like I said, personifying this toxic femininity that has taken hold in our society. Back in the 60s, a group of feminists got together and the leader was calling them to basically destroy the patriarch. So we hear a lot about how the patriarchy is just so terrible. And so she's saying, how do we do this? And the women are responding by ending monogamy. And how do we do that? And it's by promoting abortion, promiscuity, divorce, all of these things, ruining the family structure. And so when we look at that, we see, 50% of marriages in America end in divorce, but studies are starting to show that 70 to 80% of those are ended by women. They're initiated by women. And so women are doing all these things. They're saying, get an abortion, you'll be happier, you'll be able to reach your goals, get a job, you'll make more than your male counterpart, you'll be happier. The toxic femininity is not looking to solely just gain dignity and respect for women like we have voting rights now. It's actually trying to overturn this idea that we are more powerful than men. We don't need men. And by not needing that man, we are going to be happier and we are going to feel more fulfilled. And there is not a greater lie out there. That is what the toxic femininity is. And that's why women are not feeling more fulfilled. How is it that in America we have 80% of women suffering from postpartum depression? I understand that it's hormones and there's everything else, but this idea that by doing all of this garnering and gathering of power that we're going to be happier. And so Carrie goes into this. Carrie talks about the 60 million abortions that have taken place since Roe v. Wade was passed. She talks about everything, the Jezebel spirits, the female demons that are taking hold and how we can see that, how we can see them coming forward within everything that is being spoken in the media, by the Women's March, by seeing all of the just terrible signs, right? Like Mary should have had an abortion or whatever else. And it's just Carrie's book. I wish I had the physical copy. So I got the audiobook, it was the first audiobook I got from Audible. Your first audiobook is free. So if you have not gotten Audible before, you can, do that and then you can get this book on there. I learned that I am definitely a visual learner. I prefer being able to read books, skim through them. Audiobooks, I had to listen to this so many different times. But finding what works for you, finding what works for you to be able to absorb the information is imperative. But one of the ways that you can do it is by watching the videos in this collaboration, because some of these other gals are going to be going through specific chapters I know Laura's doing chapter 3, which is talking about those female demon spirits that are in the world today, how they're manifesting. I know another girl, I think, is it the Catholic Homemaker, I believe, is doing chapter 11, which is talking about the 6 ways that we can overcome that anti-Marian spirit by promoting a Marian spirit, by loving our families, by being the true example of femininity, and essentially, how can we move forward? How can we teach ourselves and train our minds, and teach our daughters in how to be that woman of God and how to model after that perfect mother, the one who was full of grace, the one who did accept pregnancy without having sex, like totally unaware that it was going to happen to her. And how can we model after that? How can we promote that and show others that by doing that, you can have happiness, you can feel fulfilled, you can truly be joyful and not suffer the terrible consequences that come from indulging in this toxic femininity. Because yes, free will exists, but so do natural consequences. We can't go get an abortion and then not feel those repercussions. Yes, we have free will, but it's not without consequence. So I do highly recommend checking out this book, whether it's, my library didn't have a copy, which I was disappointed in, and I plan to request it. But basically, if you get it on Audible, do that. If you order it on Amazon, do that. I'm going to be linking the playlist somewhere in a card and then down below so you can check out the other ladies' videos as well. And just keep an open mind. Know that it's not exclusively Catholic. There are definitely, it is an overarching mentality that is existing in our society today. And Carrie just does such a beautiful way in such a detailed and research-filled, and she has the quotes at the beginning of every chapter and everything else that truly just draws into it and helps that awareness be there of how the evil one is working. Because this isn't just, we're not living in just some ordinary time where just the usual is happening and it's not that bad. It's bad. The hands of the devil are all over what is going on in the media today, what's going on in our society, in our culture, the women at the top that are promoting. When we look at things that we're supporting, we have to look at the roots. We look at Planned Parenthood and you see Margaret Sanger and you see that her goal was to get rid of Black people, that she didn't want that race to survive. It started as a racist foundation. We can see that. Just as we see this toxic feminist movement as their goal to destroy the family structure. And there is nothing that is more against our humanity, that is more against our intrinsic nature than that. For a father to want to care for his child, for a woman to just destroying that mother-child bond, the deepest bond that exists. One of the girls in that group, the collaboration, they had said, the umbilical cord never goes away. It's just an invisible umbilical cord. Now, that whole concept of always wanting your child protected is so natural and intrinsic to everything that every woman has, if she allows her conscience to be true. If she isn't brainwashing herself saying, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, and just pushing it back and trying to bury it. Because that's what the anti-Marian spirit is it's not facing truth, it's not facing reality for what it is. And when we look at the differences in gender, when we look at femininity, when we look at everything that Mary was, we see that the toxic feminist movement that is going on today is the complete opposite of anything that she would have been. So So I hope that you're able to check out the other videos in this collaboration, as well as be aware that I am doing a joke of the day because a cheerful heart is good medicine every day through Lent this year as my little video Lent challenge. So be sure to check those out if you're interested in smiling. But otherwise, I pray that God is able to grant you the resources that you need to draw closer to Him and to those around you. And I hope that you are able to make it a great day. I hope to see you in the comments.